I had a dream, a very shy dream, of a man whose face he couldn't see was lying there, leaving me to do whatever I wanted. I boldly tore his clothes up and down his hands. But why did my nemesis look at me so badly when I woke up? In the white room was a rather luxurious bed, and a man was lying on the bed, a tall figure, slender legs, and more. Unfortunately, his face was blurry and indiscerning, and I guessed that he must be extremely handsome. I swallowed my saliva and walked towards the bedside, standing beside him and observing him. He seems to be looking at me too, and I can't see what he looks like, so can he see what I look like? After waiting for a while, there was no response. Couldn't he hear me? I crouched down slightly, nudged his arm, and as I imagined, touched the muscles. Why don't you speak? He still didn't respond, and I looked into his face again, vaguely sensing what he was saying. I can't see his face clearly. I can't hear his voice. Is there any prohibition? He should have noticed that I couldn't hear him, so shouldn't he get up and use body language with me? Why did he keep lying in bed? I nudged him on the arm again, but he still didn't respond. Could it be? My eyes widened. Couldn't he move? If that's the case, wouldn't I be able to do whatever I want? I reached out, grabbed his collar and tried to unbutton his shirt. Ring bell. A shrill alarm went off, and I opened my eyes a little annoyed. Almost to undo the second button. That's right, that beautiful man lying motionless on the bed appeared in my dream. It's not the first time I've dreamed of him. It's been going on for a week, and every day as soon as I fall asleep, he appears in my dreams. Don't look at me trying to unbutton him. I actually spent a week giving myself mental hints. It was a dream. Who didn't have a dream with color in his youth? I didn't dare to do it in reality. I didn't dare in my dream. It's a pity that too much time is wasted talking, and if you can still dream of him tonight, the first thing you will do is unbutton him, and take off his shirt. How can you still get dressed, when you're lying in bed? Sheila Bowen, are you going to today's lesson? My roommate's words made my good mood drop to the bottom. Go. Why don't you go? I'm not afraid of him. This morning was a big class, and several classes were in it together, and the next class had my nemesis, Boyd Thoreau. I didn't play with Boyd Thoreau as a kid, and every time he showed up, my mom would look at him all over the place, and she would praise him. If it weren't for my aunt always praising me, I would definitely beat him up. The roommate came over with a smile on his face. In fact, he should be afraid of you. You rode on him and beat him that day. The picture of that day instantly appeared in my mind. The two of us fought from childhood to adulthood, and we would fight every time we met, but I can't beat him now. That day, I just taunted him a few times, and he carried me up very excessively, and I naturally couldn't help but fight back. He happened to step on a rock and fell, and I definitely couldn't miss this great opportunity to ride on him and hit him. And then, I was bumped into by someone so dying, and I took a picture and posted it to the group. Am I afraid that he won't be able to beat him when he gets up? You know I hate him the most. He's my sworn enemy, and I'm not allowed to make trouble with everyone in the future. Okay, he's a sworn enemy. Seeing them smile meaningfully made me even more depressed. It's all Boyd Thoreau's fault. See if I don't hit him all over the place. At the last moment, I walked into the classroom, and there was only a vacant seat next to him. Under the teacher's gaze, I sat down next to him, and snorted coldly at him. It's just, how do I feel that Boyd Thoreau is looking at me strangely? Shame, indescribable. Cha. Didn't he come up with some new trick to torture me? I moved the stool to the side, staying away from him lately, lest he go crazy, and I couldn't beat him. Even though they were far away, he was still looking at me, and I turned my head to glare at him again. What do you see? If you dare to bully me again, I'll tell my aunt and see how she beats you. Boyd Thoreau looked at me again, then turned his head. I always felt that something was wrong. His gaze was too complicated. It had never been like this before. Could it be that something big had happened? I was a little panicked, and in order to suppress this panic, I tried to listen attentively. It doesn't matter if you don't listen. It's even more sleepy if you concentrate. High number, better than any melatonin. In the room, a handsome guy with long legs was still lying there, as if looking at me. Hey. I bared 8 white teeth at him, and walked over one step at a time. I only unbuttoned one button last night, and today I have to undo 3 buttons anyway. One no, all buttons. He's in my dreams now. No one knows. But it's just a handsome guy I imagine myself. What am I afraid of? I despise myself fiercely in my heart, and strode towards him. Little one, you're my person. No matter what I do, you can't resist. You know. I gave him a name, hoping that there will be 2 and 3 and 4 in the back, and I want to see different types of handsome guys. He seemed to be talking to me again, and if he couldn't hear it, he didn't care, and he just got started. One button is unfastened, and another is undone. The collarbone is finally revealed. His complexion was a little pale, and my dream really knew me, and knew which one I liked best. Swallowing his saliva, he couldn't help but unbutton him again. I've also secretly seen some pictures of models on my phone, and I wonder if his figure will match the pictures I've seen. 3 buttons, 4 buttons. It's my dream, and no one will know what's going on except me, and no one will know what happened to him, even if I do it. Why do I always have a hairy feeling that someone is peeking? The buttons were all unfastened, and the scenery inside was completely exposed in front of me, which really did not disappoint me. Smooth lines, strong pectoral muscles, hooking abs and mermaid lines. It's a good figure. It's even better than the bodies I've seen of those models. It's just that the feeling of being covered in hair is becoming more and more obvious. I cautiously glanced at the man, and I always had a sense of weakness in my heart when I met him. Syllable. I raised my hand and slapped him on his abs. What do you see? Look at me one by one. One by one, before I could threaten to speak, I was awakened by a jolt. When I opened my eyes, I met Boyd Thoreau's gaze. Gassy. Obviously, I was going to try how it felt next, but the dog man actually pushed me awake. I was about to argue with him when my eyes fell on the collarbone that he had unbuttoned and exposed. How do you feel? Familiar? Boyd Thoreau has been very wrong for the past 2 days, and every time I meet him at school, he always looks at me with a look that I can't understand. It's like he's holding back some big move. In other words, I would have tried to fight back a long time ago, but lately I have not been able to muster my strength. After being pushed by Boyd Thoreau that day, I lost the little one in my dream, and I haven't had that dream for a long time. Sheila Bowen, you went to bed so early today. Well, my mom told me to go to bed early and get up early, and I had to clock in and report to her every day. I made up a random reason to go to bed. I wanted to go to bed earlier, to see if I could still dream of Zioe. I didn't dream all night. I was so disappointed. I still didn't dream of him. From 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., I slept for 8 hours, but I felt that my mental state had deteriorated again. It's all Boyd Thoreau's fault. If he hadn't woken me up, how could Xiao Yi have lost it? When I saw Boyd Thoreau again in the cafeteria, I glared at him fiercely, and when I got home in a few days, I would definitely go to my aunt and ask her to beat him. Just as I glared at him and wanted to leave, he stopped me. What? Tell you, there are 3 days off left. Don't offend me. Every time the holiday is approaching, he always avoids me. Otherwise his aunt will definitely give him a good look when he gets home. Boyd Thoreau is still weird today, and instead of leaving, he's looking me up and down. I was so hairy by his gaze that goosebumps were about to rise, and I subconsciously wanted to run away, but he suddenly spoke. You have such a bad face that you haven't slept well lately. Well, why does he suddenly care about my sleep? I looked at him with wide eyes. He couldn't have bought my roommate and gave me some insomnia medicine, right? No, I've been sleeping well lately. It's none of your business. I lifted my feet and left, but he reached out to grab me, scared me into running faster. He must have tried to torture me. After running for a while, I looked back at him, and he was standing still, and I was relieved. It is, from a distance. How did those long legs that made people feel envious and familiar? When it finally made it to the holidays, my mom told me she was on a trip with my dad, and asked me to go home with Boyd Thoreau. One day, just one day, they didn't wait for me. After school, I saw Thoreau's car, and Boyd Thoreau was already in the car. Auntie told me to let you stay at my house for the next few days. I've long been used to it, and my parents often leave me out to live in a 2-person world under various excuses, and every time they give me to my aunt. The car drove for a while, and I was about to fall asleep in a daze, and the words of Boyd Thoreau came from my ears. You didn't sleep well. I really haven't slept well in the past few days, and I've tried the method of going to bed early and getting up early, but I haven't been able to dream of Zioe again, so I want to try to sleep in the second half of the night every day. No matter how much I tossed, I didn't dream about him again. It seems that it is impossible to continue this dream. I was in a bad mood and pinched Boyd Thoreau hard, blaming him. Boyd Thoreau secretly endured it, and didn't say a word. I must have seen my aunt after a while, and he was afraid that I would sue HMPH. For the sake of his acquaintance, let him once. Boyd Thoreau seemed to want to say something to me, but I ignored him and turned back to sleep. When I arrived at Thoreau's house, my uncle and aunt were not at home, so I might as well go back to my own house. Auntie didn't tell you that she went on a trip with my parents? No, since they're all gone. What should I do here? It seems that Boyd Thoreau actually laughed when he saw my joke. He already knew it but didn't tell me. It's so hateful. Have a snack first? I'll cook. What do you eat at night? It's not the first time I've been thrown down by both parents. I'm used to it, and I've quickly accepted the fact. Your babysitter isn't there? No, I'm on leave. Oh, I was immediately happy. Caesar salad, Wellington steak, turkey and a creamy mushroom pasta. Boyd Thoreau's hand holding the dish paused. You're dreaming. I snorted coldly and ignored him, searching on the internet for how to continue the dream, but I really couldn't touch it. Although I didn't get the food I ordered, I did eat fish and sweet and sour short ribs, which are all dishes that I like to eat, and I have to admit that Boyd Thoreau is a good cook. After eating, I went back to my room and went to sleep, and after a while, I fell asleep. In the dream, that room finally appeared. Same room, same bed, same beautiful man. I hadn't seen him for many days, and I was a little excited, and trotted towards him. Little one, where have you been these days? After saying that, I was silly and happy, and I talked to people in my dreams like a fool, but I was really happy because it's a secret that belongs to me completely. I'm afraid that he will disappear because I took off his clothes, and I don't dare to do anything more today, so I sit quietly on the edge of the bed and chat with him, sharing the joy of our reunion. He listened quietly and was my best listener. I decided to treat him as my secret friend and talk to him. When I woke up, it was past 1 o'clock in the morning, thinking that I would take a nap, but I didn't expect to sleep for so long, and I felt a little hungry again, so I decided to go downstairs to find something to eat. Boyd Thoreau is really good at cooking, and there was some steak left, and I decided to finish it. As soon as I turned on the kitchen light, I was startled by Boyd Thoreau, who was standing there drinking water. You. I swallowed, my eyes unconsciously falling on Boyd Thoreau, my heart beating a little faster. Boyd Thoreau seemed to have just taken a shower and only had a bath towel around his waist, his upper body completely exposed to me. In the dream, I dared to unbutton the beautiful man's buttons, and I didn't dare to take off my clothes. But now it's good. I didn't need to do it. Just show it to me. It is clear and distinct abdominal muscles, sexy mermaid line, cold white skin. How do you always feel exactly the same as the handsome guy you see in your dreams? His gaze followed the mermaid line downwards, and stopped at the place where the bath towel was enclosed. Have you seen enough? Boyd Thoreau reached for his scarf and looked at me defensively. I woke up suddenly. No. What are you doing in the kitchen in the middle of the night without sleeping? Actually, it's not that I want to see him. I just want to make sure that he is the same as the little one I saw in my dreams. But this is my secret and cannot be said. Drink water. It's you. What are you doing in the middle of the night? Boyd Thoreau was drinking water when I turned on the light, and his confidence was a little weaker. Drink water. Drink water. Why don't you turn on the lights? I'm not wearing clothes yet, I muttered to myself, blaming him. Boyd Thoreau put down his glass of water and walked over to me, stopping beside me. He was too close, and the sudden feeling of oppression made my heart beat a little wildly. It seems that he is too close, and he feels that his breathing is a little unsmooth, and his cheeks are hot, and he wants to run with his legs, but his legs seem to be nailed to the ground. Boyd Thoreau's eyes were filled with smiles. Aren't you bold? Heh. Before I could understand what he meant, I heard his voice again. Breathe. Call. That's when I realized that I was so nervous that I forgot to breathe, As I lowered my head to breathe, his soft laughter rang in my ears again. Do you eat fried rice? Eat, I immediately answered, and said, I was hungry and ate, and I blame you for scaring me. Well, I'll add you another dish of scrambled eggs with shrimp. The corners of my lips were raised, and he was really good at cooking. It's better to be able to put your clothes on, after eating at night, lying in bed tossing and turning, and unable to fall asleep. The figure of Boyd Thoreau couldn't help but come to mind. It must have been him who deliberately appeared in front of me without clothes to make me cranky. I was a little annoyed, so I simply went to play a game, and it happened that my high school classmates were online, and I was directly pulled by her to chat. Why don't you sleep so late? I slept at 7 o'clock, woke up at 1 o'clock, and couldn't sleep after eating. You're not at home right now. She was my best friend in high school and knew my situation well, and if I were home, my mom would never allow me to get up in the middle of the night to eat. Well, she and my dad went on a trip. Yo roar, living at Boyd Thoreau's house again. Yes, anyone who knows me and Boyd Thoreau knows that my parents are true love, and I just gave them to the phone bill. On holidays, I will be left to the Thoreau family. Whoa, I went to see the circle of friends, and the fried rice he just dried was made for you. Right, I'll just say that people, who don't post on Moments once in a few months, why do they suddenly dry fried rice in the middle of the night? There must be a situation. Tell me, when did you two get together? No, Boyd Thoreau posted on Moments. I ran quickly to look, but I didn't see anything, and he blocked me. I have long said that the two of you are suitable, but you have to say that he is your rival. Sheila Bowen. It's not that she wants to tell me if she wants to get off the list, but she secretly rubs and shows her affection. But then again, just your little thoughts. Heck, but anyone with a little eye can see that you like him. Stunned to look at the message sent by my friend. I like him. It seems that I liked him. When did you get excited? Boyd Thoreau comes from a good family, is a good learner, and he's been the focus of attention since I met him. Whether it's a school or a place, as long as he appears there, it will attract onlookers, and the love letters he receives never stop. And I was the only girl around him. My classmates always misunderstood me as a couple with him, saying that he only saw me and only liked me. I thought so for a while, until I saw him receiving a love letter from a girl. That girl is the school flower of another school, and she is very beautiful, the kind that even girls will scream when they see it. Boyd Thoreau has never taken a love letter from anyone but hers. Not only that, but he also went out to eat alone with her and ate several times. It wasn't until that time that I knew that he had someone he liked, and the reason why he walked with me was entirely because my aunt asked him to take care of me, and I was often left at his house by my parents, not together. I don't like him, because he doesn't like me. I don't know when I fell asleep, but when I woke up the next day, it was already past 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I went downstairs to find that Boyd Thoreau was not at home, and I was inexplicably relieved. Grabbed his suitcase, sent a message to Boyd Thoreau, and left Thoreau's house. I haven't seen Boyd Thoreau in a long time, since I left Thoreau's house that day. At school, I asked my roommate to help me with food and didn't go to the cafeteria, skipped all the big classes, and a few times I saw him from a distance and avoided him urgently. I don't know why I'm avoiding him. I don't want to see him for some reason, and the little one who appeared in my dream avoided me as I avoided Boyd Thoreau. This time, I didn't have to worry about how to dream of him, and I studied with peace of mind every day, and the advantage was that I was praised by several professional teachers. Just when I thought that Boyd Thoreau and little one were in the past tense, I dreamed of little one again, only this time. You. I looked in horror at the people lying on the bed, the familiar bed, the familiar legs, and that familiar face. Yes, I can see Koichi's face this time. I've thought about it countless times. He's the face of a supermodel I've seen, or a celebrity. I never expected to see Boyd Thoreau's face. No. How did you become Boyd Thoreau? I shook my head vigorously, trying to shake Boyd Thoreau's face out of my dreams, and even pinched myself a few times. The face is still the same face. Can you see me? Boyd Thoreau on the bed suddenly spoke up, and I almost fell to the ground. Not only was I able to see him, but I could hear his voice. The point is, the same Boyd Thoreau's voice. I cautiously moved to his side, tentatively reached out and pinched him, then quickly jumped away. He didn't come after me. In other words, he was still trapped in this bed and could not move. I was emboldened to look at Boyd Thoreau in front of me again. Hey! Boyd Thoreau seemed to be tingling with my staring at me, and looked at me with a pale face. What do you want to do? Oh, his pale face, looking at me timidly was my own imagination. Even in my dreams, he was still that cold and dignified. Boyd Thoreau, I didn't expect you to be today, I sneered, and the dog man finally fell into my hands. I can't beat him in reality, but I can't beat him in my dreams. Raising his hand, he struck him hard. Well, that face really couldn't get down, so this slap hit him on the thigh. It feels so real, and it feels like I'm really hitting him. That is, why do I see disappointment in his eyes? Ask, what should I do if I dream of a boy I liked, who is lying motionless and letting you get up and down? Chat with him. I thought I was weird, and I couldn't afford to have the slightest idea of not having the slightest thought after I found out that Zioe had turned into Boyd Thoreau's face. The atmosphere became eerie for a while. He lay there quietly, and I sat quietly in a corner. At this time, I wish someone would slap me awake, but unfortunately it didn't. Why don't you speak? Boyd Thoreau in the dream spoke first, and the atmosphere finally eased a little. There's nothing to say. Oh, is it because my face leaves you speechless? I turned my head to look at him, and twisted my head again. It was so weird that it always felt like Boyd Thoreau was talking to me. It's my dream. Why do I feel this way? Not really. It's just, how to say it, I know the face you're wearing now in reality, and it always feels weird. You don't like him. Don't like it. I shook my head. Not really. Let's put it this way. We've known each other since we were very young, and we know each other so well. That's why it's weird. He seems to enjoy talking, at least more than Boyd Thoreau in real life. When I met Boyd Thoreau in real life, I was talking most of the time, and now it's kind of fun to be in the driver's seat. I think about it day and night. Don't you dream of me because you like him? Sure enough, whether it's a dream or reality, Boyd Thoreau easily blew me up. It's not because I like him. It's good to not see your face at first. How did I know that you would suddenly become like him? It's so strange that if I had to choose, I would rather he become an ugly face. As my words fell, Boyd Thoreau on the bed seemed to be quiet, and I waited for a while and he didn't speak again, and couldn't help but turn my head to look at him, just in time for his gaze. How long has it been since I've looked Boyd Thoreau in the eye like this? I used to like his eyes so much that it seemed that I hadn't looked him in the eye since he took the girl's love letter. Before you know it, you're stuck in it again. He paused, and then said, is it because my face isn't handsome enough? It's not, I replied honestly. He's the most handsome in our school, and a lot of people like him, but I don't have a mirror right now, otherwise you'd know how handsome your face is now. It's because he's so handsome. Even if he knows that he has someone he likes, there's still no way to turn around and leave. Alas, I sighed in my heart, I'm actually Yan Dog, right? He seemed to be pleased with my answer, and a faint smile tugged at his lips. Listen to you, you still like him? I hurriedly denied. No, I won't like him. Why? I looked at him, and it was so clear that it always felt like Boyd Thoreau was asking me why. Why? I lowered my head, my eyes full of loss. He doesn't like me. Why should I like him? I hadn't dreamed of little one, let alone Boyd Thoreau. Since that night, as if this man had suddenly disappeared from my life. Approaching the final exam, I received a message from my mother. Your uncle went on a business trip to yours, and I asked him to bring you some food, and put it at Boyd Thoreau's. You contact him to get it. It's good to send it directly to me. It's a lot of trouble, uncle. Stinky girl. It's all cooked by your mother herself. Can the courier be insured? When I saw this, I suddenly didn't want to take it. It's really my mom's cooking. 10 dads worse than Boyd Thoreau. After hiding for a long time, I knew I couldn't hide this time, so I sent a message to Boyd Thoreau. My mother said that Uncle Twa brought me some food. When will it be convenient for you, for me to come and get it? The other side quickly replied to the message. Right now, I live in. You come and get it. When I got to the address given by Boyd Thoreau, I learned that he didn't live at the school, and that my uncle had bought him a house near the school. Envy. nervous when he arrived at Boyd Thoreau's place. He was very worried. Nothing happened to the two of us. It was me who was making a fuss, and suddenly felt a little hypocritical. Taking a deep breath, I was about to ring the doorbell when the door was opened from the inside. Uncle bought Boyd Thoreau a set of nearly 200 square meters of large flats, clean and simple decoration, which is my favorite style, the same as my dream home. How's that? Do you like it? Okay. When are you going to move out? Yesterday. You said earlier. I'll bring you a gift. Boyd Thoreau smiled and brought me a glass of freshly squeezed juice, my favorite orange. I'll make it up next time. Okay, just say what you want. I'll give it to you. Really? Nature. Anything. When I met Boyd Thoreau's gaze, I didn't dare to accept it for a moment. As long as I can afford it, I can do it. It's too expensive, and my mom will definitely make it up for me. Boyd Thoreau smiled again. What do you want to eat at night? It's not his first time cooking, and I didn't politely order directly. Fried rice, sweet and sour short ribs, steamed fish. He said, don't want steak, salad, or ham. If I want to eat it, you can do it. I was stunned. These dishes are extremely time-consuming. I deliberately made things difficult for him last time. Could it be that he really wants to make them? As it turned out, he was really ready to cook these dishes. Watching him take the prepared ingredients out of the refrigerator, he suddenly admired the girl Boyd Thoreau liked. Once they're together, they can't cook for me anymore. The time passed quickly, and in less than an hour he served a large table full of dishes. There are the dishes I ordered last time, as well as some other dishes that I like to eat, and I am not surprised to eat them. After eating, Boyd Thoreau put away the dishes and chopsticks and brought out another plate of fruit. It's a strawberry that I like to eat. I sat down on the couch and enjoyed it so much, more comfortable than I was at home. Boyd Thoreau found a movie and came to me, and sat down. Better than a dormitory. Right, of course. The dormitory is not so comfortable. You're about to graduate, and you don't want to move out early. I took a hard bite of the strawberry. My mom definitely doesn't agree. When I first went to college, my dad said that I would buy a house nearby, but my mom said that it was not safe for girls to live outside alone, and she didn't agree. At that time, I was still thinking, if only I were a boy. Look at Boyd Thoreau's comfortable life, and it's a fake to say that it's not beautiful. Boyd Thoreau suddenly moved to my side. I have a way to convince Auntie. He was so close that my heart couldn't help but panic again, and I subconsciously moved back. But I was already sitting on the edge of the sofa, and there was nowhere to escape. I didn't dare to look at him, and looked away. What can you do? Move in with me. I was so shocked that I almost jumped up, and he asked me to move in with him. Sheila Bowen, didn't you notice that I liked you? I feel a little confused. What does Boyd Thoreau say? He's saying he likes me. I quietly pinched my thigh. Don't be afraid, it's a dream. After all, I dreamed of him and talked to him. Sheila Bowen. Boyd Thoreau gritted his teeth and looked at me, and I shot out of the way. You're killing me again. What are you pinching me for? Hey. I looked at his thigh and realized that it was his leg that I had just pinched. No wonder I didn't feel pain, and thought it was a dream. Come here. Don't. I won't hit you. I looked at Boyd Thoreau suspiciously, wondering if he was lying to me. Boyd Thoreau's face was full of frustration and beckoned to me. You pat your conscience and ask, when have I ever beaten you? Oh, when I thought about it, he really hadn't hit me. Then why am I always afraid of him? Figured it out. Are you afraid that I will tell my aunt, and let my aunt beat you? Boyd Thoreau was deflated and beckoned to me again. Sit down. Thinking that he had never hit me, I was a little bolder, and I blinked at him. What did you just say? Didn't say anything? If you don't say it, you don't say it. I don't want to know. Turning his head, not looking at him, the sofa next to him sank, and a heat source approached him. Sheila Bowen, why are you so stupid? You're stupid. Yes, I'm stupid. Stupid enough to confess earlier and let you know I like you. I looked at him with wide eyes. And do you really like me? As you think. I like you, and I've always liked you. Boyd Thoreau's words were so shocking that he knew what he was talking about. How could you like me? Then tell me, if I don't like you, how can I let you keep bullying me? Also, why is Auntie so good to me? You don't know. How do I know? When I think of this, I suddenly think of the joke between my mother and aunt when I was a child. No way. Auntie has always treated me as a son-in-law, so she is relieved to let me take care of you. My mother treats you well, and treats you as a daughter-in-law, so you don't feel it at all. I was really dumbfounded this time and looked up at Boyd Thoreau quietly. Your ears are red. Boyd Thoreau. I didn't want to confess so soon. I wanted to wait for you to accept me slowly, and let it be. This time I blushed. Then why did you suddenly confess? You're graduating. I'm afraid you'll be snatched away by someone else. I'm a little dumbfounded. It's all girls revolving around him, and no man has ever confessed to me since I was a child. Shouldn't I be worried? Boyd Thoreau smiled again and pulled closer to me. Do you know why no one is chasing you? Why? I'm also curious about this. People who know me praise me for being good-looking, and many say that I'm better looking than the schoolgirl, but no one has ever confessed to me. I think they are just comforting me. Something suddenly came to mind. Is that you? Figured it out. No, according to Boyd Thoreau, he likes me a lot, so why would he take someone's love letters? Don't you have someone you like? Tell me clearly. Why do you think I have someone I like? Seeing that he looked serious, could it be that there was some misunderstanding between us? When I was in high school, someone handed you a love letter, and you took it, and you often went out to dinner with her. Don't try to lie to me. I've seen it all, and your classmates say she's your girlfriend. Boyd Thoreau gritted his teeth as if he thought of something. Tomorrow you come out to me, and I'll explain it to you. Back in my dorm room, I couldn't sleep anymore. Things didn't seem to be what I thought. Boyd Thoreau's sudden confession was also a little weird, but anyway, he said he liked me. Touching the upper heart, I felt the cheerful and powerful heartbeat, and the corners of my lips couldn't help but bend. I had no dreams all night, and the next day I came to the restaurant that Boyd Thoreau said as agreed, and as soon as I entered the private room, I saw the beauty sitting next to Boyd Thoreau. It's the guy who handed Boyd Thoreau a love letter in high school. Hey, in the past few years, she has become more beautiful. She is really amorous, and people can't take their eyes off it. Introducing you, my childhood friend, Noah Carlyle. After speaking, he did not forget to add, he is a man. Poof. I just drank a sip of milk tea and squirted out. No, you told me that such a big beauty is a man. Noah Carlyle winked at me, then dug into his chest and pulled out 2 buns. Alas, I don't need steamed buns now. If it weren't for this dog man forcing me to prove my innocence, how would I be like this? Boyd Thoreau looked at me with a light smile. Do you understand now? No, I don't understand. Instead of understanding, I panicked. Boyd Thoreau takes a love letter from a very beautiful man. Is he? What are you thinking? Didn't think about anything? I can't say that I'm thinking a little too much, and the small essay is more than 100,000 words at this time. Right. Sister-in-law, don't get me wrong, I'm a pure man, and I have a girlfriend. Noah Carlyle said to me with a smile that the two of us have nothing to do with each other. He came to me, and said you weren't happy to see someone handing him love letters and gifts. I gave him an idea to pretend to be his girlfriend, and block the peach blossom for him. Things were really different from what I thought, so I misunderstood Boyd Thoreau all these years. Boyd Thoreau raised his hand, and rubbed it on my head. I've always liked you. Only you. We were in a relationship in our senior year, and 2 years after graduation, the two families began to discuss marriage, and I moved to live with him. His house was close to where both of us worked, so it was easy to live there. In the past 2 years, I have often come to eat the food he cooked for me, and I have long been familiar with this place, except for one room that I have never entered, his bedroom. I was a little conservative at heart. I didn't want to be together without the time to get married, and he respected me equally, so I didn't go into his bedroom. It's normal. Now that the marriage has been decided, we went to get the marriage certificate this morning, and legally I am already his wife. After dinner, I entered his room with some trepidation. My pupils dilated. Why is this bed so familiar? That's when Boyd Thoreau, who had taken a shower, came out of the bathroom and hugged me from behind. Don't you want to take off my clothes? Give you a chance. I jerked my head back and looked at him in shock. You, sneaking me for hitting me. Do you feel satisfied? I'm stupid, so I'm not the only one doing that dream. Boyd Thoreau, When I was 5 years old, my mother's best friend moved to our city and bought the villa next to my house. She has a very lovely sister at home, and my mother likes that sister very much. And when she goes back, she tells me that she must be good to her sister and strive to marry her when she grows up. I think my mother is not in her right mind, but it doesn't prevent me from liking that cute sister. At first, I did always think of her as a sister, plus a few months older than her, and let her do everything. She is also very clingy to me, and will call me brother softly and cutely. That's nice. Later, I found out that the soft cuteness was just her appearance, and she was a little bully behind her back. For example, when my aunt was kind to me, she was as angry as a little pufferfish over there, and when she turned around, she secretly rubbed and pinched me, which made her even more cute. In order to tease her, I went to her house from time to please my aunt, and every time I could see her puffing and puffing. The two of us went to kindergarten, elementary school, junior high school, and high school together, and we have always had a good relationship. When I think of what my mother always says, if I can marry her, I will be happier than my mother. In my junior year of high school, I heard her complain to her friends that too many people handed me love letters, and I was shocked, afraid that she would have a misunderstanding. So I decided to find a way to put an end to it. It's definitely not okay to confess to her and let her be my girlfriend. She's still too young. Don't say I'm reluctant. My mother will beat me to death if she knows. I talked to Noah Carlyle, who had always had the most ideas, and he gave me the idea to pretend to be a woman and pretend to be my girlfriend. If I knew I could misunderstand Sheila Bowen, I'd shoot Noah Carlyle, but I didn't know, and I stupidly believed Noah Carlyle's nonsense. Since I went out alone with Noah Carlyle a few times, rumors began to circulate that I had a girlfriend, and sure enough, fewer people sent me love letters. I thought Sheila Bowen would be happy, but she started avoiding me. At that time, I thought that she would study hard in the 3rd year of high school, but I didn't think much about it, and I devoted myself to studying. But now I think about it, I'm stupid. The two of us were admitted to the same university, and when I wanted to confess to her after school, she still avoided me and stayed with friends. Friends say that I am her sworn enemy, and hate me the most. Suppressing the soreness in my heart, I decided to silently guard her, as long as she can be happy, until one day, I dreamed of Sheila Bowen, in which I was trapped in bed and couldn't move, and she walked slowly towards me. I thought I liked her so much that I had this dream, but then I realized that something was wrong, until one day in class, she fell asleep, and I thought of that room again, and vaguely felt that she was undressing me and touching me. I didn't sleep, and the sensations in my body were so clear that I couldn't help but have a bold guess. The little girl was a little timid, so she only dared to touch me secretly, but this time it would kill me. In order to avoid making a fool of myself in class, I reached out and pushed her awake. She woke up and looked at my collarbone, and I was sure of the bizarre experience. Thankfully, I had this experience and learned from her the reason why she was estranged from me. It turned out that it wasn't that she didn't like me, but that she was afraid that I wouldn't like her. I immediately confessed that she became my girlfriend, and will be my wife in the future, the love of my life. The end.